right after the remarks of the two ministers, we'll have a family photo in the room on my left. But since we are quite a big crowd, there's not enough space for everyone in the photo, so we would kindly ask all companies to have just one representative attending the family photo. Thank you. The others can remain in the room. Thank you. I ministri stanno arrivando, confermo. Scusate il ritardo.
Ministers about to arrive.
Or not. I'm receiving contradictory messages. Okay. Fanno il loro ingresso in sala il vicepresidente del Consiglio e ministro dei
Vice President of the Council of Ministers and the Minister for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
il vicepresidente
The Vice President of and the Minister for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. The floor is yours.
Buongiorno a tutti. There is a translation Italian to English, English to Italian. Benvenuti a tutti.
Welcome to all of you at the Ministry for Foreign Affairs, which is the house and the home of exports. I hope that you can properly listen to translation. Wonderful, thank you. So welcome to this House of Foreign Affairs, which is actually the house of the companies who want to grow. And we had a wonderful meeting together with you, dear Minister, dear Cecilia. Welcome to Rome. Thank you for your presence here today at this business forum. I would like to also greet the many companies, both Italian and Norwegian, who are here today attending this forum, which is a business forum and which truly bring an important contribution to the partnership between our two countries. Italy and Norway truly have a very strong bond and ties, and we want to further strengthen and deepen. We share common values. We are both members, NATO members. We are European countries, although Norway is not part of the European Union, but we are closely collaboration for peace in the Ukraine and the Middle East, but also in the African continent. Peace is fundamental, is vital for economy and business at large. I want to remember Bastiat, an economist and philosopher. So where you have goods traveling and traded, there are no arms and weapons being traded. And this is fundamental because 40% of our GDP, we are the second industrial power and the fifth worldwide trade. And we want to internationalize. We, of course, want to export, but also we want to attract investments in companies and businesses. And our companies who can actually launch ventures, joint ventures, so that we can together work elsewhere, let's say in other countries, at international level. So maritime security is of primary importance. I'm thinking about the Red Sea, where almost 40% of the maritime Italian trade. We, as you are aware, we have the military ships which are now protecting and escorting our ships, but we have to look ahead at the future. We have to be farsighted. And I'm looking at the Arctic because certainly climate change will open up new trade routes in the northern hemisphere. So, of course, with fewer ices, we will be able to trade through new routes, through new corridors. And this, of course, invites us to jointly collaborate. We have a project. I have just recently showed our project for the Arctic. And Ministry, of course, knows very well the history of our passion for the Arctic and for Norway. She mentioned Nobile, who is our flagship in that part of the world. And so our strategy is encouraging us to work together jointly in the Arctic. Together with the Minister for Foreign Affairs, last year we jointly aim at strengthening our economic partnership. So I would say today is an additional landmark which will testify to strengthening our collaboration. But I think that we can do more. We certainly, since the beginning of last year, we have set up and launched an Italian plan for exports, targeting at strengthening those markets which we are not as strong as we wish, and also exploring new markets. I would say that all of the Italian embassies worldwide have now drafted a study to express and to explain to Italian companies the shortcomings, the challenges, but also the opportunities. That we call this the diplomacy of growth. And this is actually the booklet that we are giving to Italian entrepreneurs and managers who would like to work and collaborate in Norway. It includes and it touches upon many key sectors, cybersecurity, energy transition, strengthening critical infrastructures, the maritime sector, which are some of the panels of the afternoon. I would say energy is fundamental. It's truly a crucial element. And we have just received by the EU the possibility of a greater flexibility in energy expenditures based on renewables. We are working both on renewable sources of energy, but also the nuclear energy in parallel. So I think we will carry on collaborating with Norway, and Norway has very important energy potential, but also on critical raw materials. Just earlier in our bilateral meeting, I have mentioned to the minister, we cannot consider and have one country, China, to name it, imposing a price on raw materials worldwide. Otherwise, we are subject from a trade and industrial point of view to the Chinese decision-making. So we have to set up an alternative market. And this is why we are attending this important event, which is being organized by the US, by Rubio, on critical raw materials. And we necessarily have to endeavor so that our countries, our two countries, can be more in the forefront in this field, because we truly have to help our business, our system. Then security, defense, another pillar of paramount importance. So Europe has taken a decision to increase investments in the field of defense because the world is changing and the world order is changing. It's no longer the Cold War, the Berlin Wall is down, but we have new conflicts in the south, in the east, and Europe as a continent, I would say, broadly speaking, and this includes, of course, Norway, Finland, countries which entered and joined NATO later, while Norway has always been part of NATO for a long time, but we always have been protected by the US. But now the US have changed. They believe that we have to do more. And this is a call to all of us, also as an industrial field, to be aware of the fact that we can no longer count on the US protection. So we have to make sure that our European system as a whole becomes stronger, be better organized, have a stronger defense. We do need joint ventures with NATO countries And of course, you know the Italian stand within NATO. I think it's known to all. Buy European. That is certainly true. But we are also in favor to strike deals with third countries, like Norway, like the UK, who are not members of the EU. But I believe that we can also look at other countries with NATO members, in terms of security, maybe countries which are not NATO, we are less favorable. So we are more in favor of striking deals with NATO members in the field of defense, of security, and we are looking at this with great interest. And I also would like to underline what we are already achieving as Ministry for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, because since January the 1st, there has been a true revolution within our ministry. It is ever more a business-oriented ministry. We have set up and we have created a new Director General for Growth, a new DG, supporting all Italian companies worldwide, fostering and promoting and advocating for their presence, trying to use our embassies, our consulates, our offices abroad, which have to be, let's say, like a reference for them abroad, but also for other countries who are there and who want to maybe come to invest in Italy. So it has let's say, a twofold role, and we have called this the DG for Growth. We also have set up like a center 24/7 open for all companies working, so that each company cannot be, let's say, always have to be aware that we are supporting them. So this DG for Growth, which will strengthen relationships between companies, so business and diplomacy. We are organizing a number of events. We organized one in Turin, then a second in Bari, and then the following in Rome and in Milan. What are we actually organizing? A B2B, ambassadors with managers, with entrepreneurs. They actually have a direct dialogue with the ambassador. And they will always be cited and accompanied by the SACE, CDP, also the Italian Trade Agency. These are all partners and players supporting Italian investments abroad, worldwide. So it's very interesting for our companies, but also for the countries where we want to export. But this is also a way, since we are organizing a large number of business forums abroad, not only in Italy. Today we are here in Italy with our Norwegian friends, but I will be in Miami next week, and then in Tunisia. We are traveling in many different countries and regions of the world because we want to have our companies be known abroad. I truly am a strong believer in joint ventures, because I think in Africa, we must not forget the importance of the African continent for all of us. It is a continent where truly poverty is present, but it's also a very rich continent at the same time. So we have to collaborate with them. So these resources allow them to grow, to develop, but also I'm thinking about the raw critical materials. This is very important to, also extract oil, gas. And you, Norway, you have a great experience. And during the bilateral, we were speaking about the collaboration with our ENI, the Hydrocarbon National Company. So I think we can have a win-win solution for both of us. because, between entrepreneurs and managers, we are on the same page. We are certainly members of governments, but we have to do what we can. We should streamline the red tape and the bureaucratic procedures to achieve better results. And we believe that with no companies, there is no growth. With no companies and business, there is no employment. So what we are doing to support our companies is something I've always been convinced since when I was commissioner in the field of industry at the EU at the time, because I think you're the only ones who can actually provide growth and freedom and better conditions, living conditions for our citizens. So it is in the interests of all of us to improve conditions, living conditions, working conditions. And I want to underline this to our Norwegian friends. We are ready to do what we can at community level, at the EU level, to promote your businesses. So thank you very sincerely for having accepted this invitation. You are always the most welcome guests here in Rome, and I truly want to thank once again the Minister for her kindness, availability, your love for Italy. You are mentioning that she has been visiting Naples, and if you want to stay a bit longer in Rome, we are very happy. We can organize a couple of days off of holiday. I know that she's has a busy schedule, but I mean, you know that you are welcome whenever you wish. And thank you for your friendship, for your kindness, and wish you the best of work to the forum. The floor is yours, dear Minister.
Thank you so much, Minister Tajani, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Buongiorno a tutti, benvenuti. Trying to learn Italian, of course, when I'm spending time here, so maybe it's correct, maybe not, but I'm sure the minister will help me also with that one. But thank you so much for your inspiring words, for our really good bilateral meeting we just had. It's important for both Norway and Italy that we work closer together on so many levels in the time we are now living in. And it's truly a pleasure to be here, opening the first Italy-Norway Business Forum together with you, Minister. Norway and Italy have long had much to offer each other. Already in the 20th century, our countries were connected through a remarkable form of trade, the export of Norwegian falcons. These extraordinary birds were prized by Italian nobles for their strength and elegance in the art of falconry. They symbolize trust, craftsmanship, and long-distance partnership, values that continue to define our cooperation even today. But most of all, it's the ocean that has brought us together, a collaboration through trade spanning hundreds of years. One example, there is a small island, Røst, in the northern part of Norway. A small piece of Italy dedicated in this area to the story of the shipwreck of Querini from Venice, who arrived there with a crew on lifeboats in 1431. We all know that this friendship is really strong, it's deep, and it's even there today. And you make really good food with the cod from Lofoten. We stand now at an important moment for Europe, a moment that calls for Norwegian businesses and Italian businesses to look outward together. In the brilliant epic story about Napoli, where I actually spent this weekend learning about your tourist industry, that nearly 10% of Norway's populations have read the Italian author Elena Ferrante asked, "What time is now? What time was then?" Ferrante reminds us that Europe has been shaped by people who dare to build connections, even in certain surroundings. I would say now is the time for cooperation. Now is the time for strengthening the ties between North and South. Geopolitical shifts, energy security, and rapid technological change make partnerships more essential than ever. And together we can reinforce competitiveness, create jobs, and contribute to a more resilient and forward-leaning Europe, and we need it. And I am confident that Italy-Norway Business Forum will grow into an important meeting place, stimulating trade and industrial cooperation in key strategic sectors. Just see how much competence is here in this room from both sides. And Norway has been a part of the EU internal market for more than 30 years. And Norwegian companies are deeply integrated into European value chains. In fact, Norwegian companies form a critical part of the supply chains of European industry. So it's important for me to also say here, the internal market, our home market, consists of not only the 27 member states, it's 30 countries, and Norway is an important part of it. And we are going to do our part to also strengthen the internal market. This is most visibly in the energy sector, where Norway provided around 1/3 of EU natural gas import in 2025. But contributions go far beyond energy. Norway is also an important provider of minerals, chemicals, fertilizers, shipping services, and emerging sectors such as offshore wind, hydrogen, and not at least space. I'm going to visit the space sector later on today. And when it comes to the critical raw materials, I agree with the minister. We have to do more in Europe with our allies, and in Norway we have the biggest deposit of rare earth minerals in Europe, Fensfeltet, in the southeast of Norway. And so we can go on and showing off how important critical industries we have, and they will not be critical and important if we doesn't work together. Because we have worked along many lines over the last years to deal with the increasing security risks that follow from being a small country with an open economy. Our overall aim is to have an economy that is as open as possible while maintaining our national security interests. And Norway's approach to economic security is similar to the EU's, looking at risks that arise from international trade, carry out relevant risk assessments, and look at how to mitigate these. And our approaches require closer dialogue and cooperation with trusted partners, as you are for us. And in a time of international tension and global trade uncertainty, stronger Norwegian-Italian cooperation is important for reinforcing European resilience, security, competitiveness, and we will be stronger together, I am sure. And as we look toward the future of our partnership, it is worth remembering that cooperation between our nations has also been driven by curiosity, courage, and a shared willingness to embrace risk and explore the unknown. So did the Italian aviator and navigator Nobile and the Norwegian polar explorer Roald Amundsen. Exactly 100 years ago, they were part of the crew on board the Italian-built airship Norge. Having started here in Rome, the airship made its way to the Norwegian Svalbard Islands. In 72 hours, they crossed the totally unknown Arctic Ocean from Svalbard to Alaska. Fog, icing, and strong winds forced the ice ship, of course, and the flight became dramatic when ice from the propellers struck the balloon fabric, threatening to tear it. An Italian crew member even climbed outside, clinging to a rope to check for damage. Fortunately, all went well, and the airship continued around another 3,000 miles before landing safely in Alaska. Nobile and Amundsen had no idea whether the airship could cope with Arctic conditions, but most importantly, they were willing to try, and they succeeded. And of course, Arctic is close to my heart because I am from the Arctic. So it's been part of my political life always. So I'm so pleased that you are also increasing your role when it comes to Arctic policies, also when it comes to the business part of it. But a monument commemorating this is now standing in my hometown of Tromsø. The city up north, the gateway to the Arctic, and I was also pleased to show this monument to Minister Orso when he visited me last years. So the Arctic and the ocean really is something that sets us together. But there all, I am going to conclude my speech now. Tomorrow I will sign a letter of intent on a strategical industrial partnership with the Italian Minister of Industry and Made in Italy, Adolfo Urso. This will contribute to strengthening our ties even further. At the Business Forum today, parallel panels will explore further opportunities for cooperation within energy transition, green maritime, and defense and security. And we come here today with a strong delegation of both established and interested companies when it comes to cooperation with and activities here in Italy. And I would like to express my warmest thanks to Minister Tajani and to the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation for hosting today's event in cooperation with the Italian Ministry of Defense, the Italian Trade Agency, and other key Italian stakeholders. I'm also pleased to have been told that Team Norway in Italy, including the Norwegian Embassy in Rome and Innovation Norway in Milan, has been really satisfied with the cooperation in the planning and organizing of this event. And we all know this kind of organization can be quite hard sometimes. But may our two countries continue to build on a long and fruitful relationship we already enjoy. And let's keep Nobel and Amundsen in mind when now we're going forward. And may you all explore new business opportunity and establish strong networks. I am really looking forward for today and most of all for our common future. Grazie mille.
Thank you, Minister Myrseth. I would now please invite all companies to quickly move to the room on my left, please, to the hall for the family photo. Thank you so much. Just one representative per company, as we wouldn't fit all. We are too many. Thank you. I invite all other guests to remain in this room while we take the family photo. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone, Italian and Norwegian institutions, representatives, and of course, the many Italian and Norwegian enterprises that have joined us today. Your presence is a clear sign of the strength of the economic relationship between Italy and Norway, which is not only solid, but still rich in untapped potential. This potential, I believe, is directly reflected in the extraordinary numbers we are witnessing. Our bilateral trade is experiencing a phase of historic vitality. In 2025, total trade between Italy and Norway reached a remarkable 6.1 billion euros in value, marking an impressive 16.4% increase compared to the previous year, and both Italian exports and Italian imports from Norway grew about this size. It is also quite interesting that since we import a lot of energy from Norway, yet Italy is almost matching its energy import in value, its energy imports from Norway with manufacturing products, which is, not the typical pattern that you would see. So this speaks volumes about, I think, the potential and also the interest, if I may say so, in Norway for Italian products. Italy and Norway are two advanced economies with a shared commitment to innovation and sustainability. Our commercial relations reflect this complementarity, and Italy is perceived as a reliable supplier of machinery, our main export item, mechanical equipment, metal products, electrical equipment, vehicles, fashion, food and wine. Wine, by the way, is increasingly beloved in Norway, which makes us very happy. Furniture and design. Norway, on the other hand, is a key partner, as I said, for Italy in the energy sector, particularly through natural gas, and plays an essential role in Europe's energy security, as the minister just mentioned. So, beyond trade, we also look at an important presence of Italian companies in Norway. Fincantieri's control of Ward, for example, represents one of the most significant examples. There is a solid backing by investments of this industrial integration. In 2024, the stock of Italian FDI in Norway grew by 104 million euros, reaching a total of 720 million euros. Concurrently, Norwegian investments in Italy maintain a significant presence with a stock valued at 937 million euros, which represent deep-rooted, long-term trust and mutual commitment between our corporate worlds. This is the context in which today's forum has been designed, and the choice of the three thematic panel is not accidentally. It reflects the areas where Italy and Norway can achieve the greatest value by working together. A couple of words on the Italian Trade Agency and what we're doing. We have a person at the Embassy of Italy in Oslo working with the Italian Trade Agency and developing quite a number of initiatives. The main activities include participation of Italian companies with the Italian Trade Agency in trade fairs such as Norshipping and offshore Northern Sea, events on wine, I mentioned wine earlier, such as the Vinitaly Preview and the forthcoming Borsa Vini in Oslo next September, webinars for Italian companies on the oil and gas subcontracting services, invitation to many Norwegian entrepreneurs and operators to important fairs in Italy, and of course, a huge number and increasing number of services directly to Italian companies to help and guide them in the Norwegian market. I would like also to express finally our gratitude to Innovation Norway, a valuable partner in the organization of this forum, And we look at an increased cooperation with our counterpart, our sister, if I may say so, Innovation Norway, with a memorandum of understanding which we have started to negotiate. We consider this collaboration an important step to give continuity, structure, and ambition to the collaboration that we are strengthening today. So I wish you all a successful forum, fruitful panel discussions, and above all, the very important B2B meetings that will take place in the afternoon. Thank you for your attention.
Grazie a Lorenzo Galanti. Let me also join Mr. Galanti in the gratitude to Innovation Norway. We worked incredibly well with ITA and with Innovation Norway in the organization. We were very proud to hear the words that Minister Myrseth spent on the organization. And I would give the floor then to Mr. Ola Strand, Head of the Board, Innovation Norway. Thank you. Microphone.
There you are. Yes. Thank you so much. And the representatives from the Italian and Norwegian business companies, ladies and gentlemen, it's great to be back in Italy again, and especially here at this business forum, the Italian-Norwegian Business Forum here in Rome. I think, first of all, I would like to express thank you to all that have helped us to make this event happen. It brings together such a diverse group of business leaders, investors, and innovators from both Norway and Italy. And it's in itself a strong signal of the long-lasting ties between our two countries. With my own experience and background from the logistics sector, I know from first-hand experience that the potentially in closer business relationship between our two countries are huge. Business forums like this have always been important for the development of international business. But at a time of significant geopolitical and economic change, as the ministers mentioned earlier today, this may even play a more important role than ever. The challenges we face, from competitiveness and industrial transformation to energy security and sustainability, cannot be addressed by countries or companies acting alone. They require collaboration, partnerships, and the exchange of knowledge across borders. As I earlier mentioned, Norway and Italy have much to gain from working more closely together. Our economies are highly complementary. Both countries are home to world-class companies, strong research environments, and innovative entrepreneurs who can learn from each other and create new value together. For decades, Norway and Italy have been cooperating in key industrial sectors, and we see even further opportunities across industries such as energy, maritime, advanced manufacturing, aerospace and defense, digital technologies, life science, and green transition. And not to forget the tourist sector, as the minister earlier mentioned, and the food sector, which we, of course, we Norwegians, we really love your food from Italy. And remember one thing, the true value of business forums lies not only in the speeches, but also in the conversation that took place among the stakeholders present here today, and in the new connections that are made, and in the partnership that will emerge after a conference like this. Don't forget that. That's a real experience from my side as well. So this is also why organizations such as Innovation Norway and ITA play an important role. Innovation Norway is the Norwegian government's official trade promotion organization. Our mission is to help create connections, lower barriers for collaboration, and support companies seeking to explore new markets and opportunities. And we are doing that through both funding and advisory. And we also are responsible for the Invest In function for Norway. So if you want to invest in Norway, you could just call us and we will help you. We have been present with our Italian office in Milan for decades, as a reflection of the strong, long-lasting industry connections between our two countries, and of the great cooperation opportunities that Norway continues to see here. We are not only here to facilitate trade and investment. We are here to help building long-term relationships between our business communities in close cooperation with the Norwegian Embassy, whose partnership and presence strengthen everything we do together. As a closing remark, I encourage everyone here to make the most of this opportunity, engage in new conversations, challenge existing perspectives, and explore opportunities for collaboration. Thank you all again for being here today. I look forward to the business opportunities that will emerge from this forum and the development of the partnership between Norway and Italy in the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Strand. Talking about companies, without further ado, I would give the floor to Mr. Giorgio Marsiai, representing the main Italian business association as Vice President for Aerospace of Confindustria. Prego.
Yeah. Good morning. Minister Tajani, Minister Myrseth, distinguished guests, business leaders from Norway and Italy. It is a real pleasure to be here today for this Italy-Norway Business Forum. I am here on behalf of Confindustria, as you just said, the main association representing Italian industry and services. More than 150,000 companies, over 5 million workers, around 1/3 of our national GDP across every sector of manufacturing and services. Italy and Norway are not the most obvious pair at first glance. We are a Mediterranean country. You are a Nordic North Sea nation. Our economies have different structures and different roots. And yet the numbers tell a story of a relationship that is growing fast. In 2025, our bilateral trade reached 6.1 billion euros, up more than 16% in a single year, plus 16% in a single year. And Italian export to Norway grew by 17%, the strongest growth among your main European suppliers. Today, Italy is your 10th largest supplier, ahead of several larger economies. Let me be candid about the overall balance. Italy runs a trade deficit with Norway because we import your natural gas and oil energy that has been important to our countries, especially in recent years. But that is exactly why this forum matters. The real opportunity is to broaden our relationship well beyond energy into the full range of advanced industry where both our countries excel. And above all, we share the same strategic priorities: NATO membership, the drive for European technological sovereignty, the green and energy transition, and the conviction that a strong industrial base is also a security asset. As Confindustria, on behalf of our President Emanuele Orsini, let me concrete about where I see the greatest room to build together. First is energy and the green transition. Norway is an energy superpower, not only in oil and gas, but increasingly in offshore wind, hydrogen, carbon capture, and the technologies of the transition. Italian companies such as Eni, Saipem, and others are natural partners here. The relationship that today rests heavily on important energy can evolve into a true industrial partnership on the energy of the future. Second, maritime, shipbuilding, and the blue economy. Fincantieri and Vard, already structurally connected, are living proof of what deep Italy-Norway integration can look like, from cruise and specialized vessel to maritime safety and ocean monitoring. There is much more to build on this foundation. Third is machinery, advanced manufacturing, and steel. Mechanical machinery is already our single largest export to Norway, together with the specialized steel products. This is the backbone of Italian industry. Thousands of highly specialized companies, world leaders in their niches. And finally, you mentioned, some of you have mentioned before, is aerospace, defense, and space. Here, too, the complementarity is strong. Norway is home to world-class companies and is among the few NATO members already exceeding the 2% commitment. Italy is one of the largest defense industrial capacity in NATO, with export that grew by more than 130% between 2020 and 2024. Our supply chains, primes plus hundreds of specialized SMEs, can offer Norwegian industry the resilience and dual sourcing it needs. And for Italian SMEs, Norway is a gateway into programs of global reach. The strength of the Italian model is not only in our large champions. It is in a dense network of family-owned companies, mid-sized companies that invest for the long term and for the next generation, not for the next quarter. This is a sensibility I believe Norwegian businesses will recognize: reliability and partnership built to last. Confindustria is not here today simply to celebrate Italian industry. We are here because the industrial partnership between Italy and Norway is genuinely underexploited. The B2B session this afternoon is where today's conversation becomes tomorrow's contracts. I encourage every Italian and Norwegian company in this room to use that time well. Thank you to everybody.
Grazie al Vicepresidente Marziai. Thank you. The floor now to Mr. Ture Mire, Director of European Affairs, NHO. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor to be here today and to represent Norwegian business. Let me express my sincere thanks to our Italian hosts for bringing us together in such an impressive setting here at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It is a privilege to be in Rome for what is both a timely and important meeting, and I have to admit that Italian wine tastes better in Italy. I'm impressed with the work that the organizers have done in gathering so many business representatives together. This kind of meeting places become even more important in the new geopolitical situation. The Confederation of Norwegian Enterprise is Norway's biggest business organization, bringing together members from all aspects of business, from energy, technology, finance, fish farming, and defense, to the local hairdressers and carpenters. We are members of Business Europe, together with our sister organization Confindustria, that we just heard from, and I would like to thank you, Giorgio, for our good cooperation. In Norway, our organization is working hard on improving framework conditions for our members, whether it is taxation, red tape, energy, or transportation. And we are concerned that Norway and Europe is lagging behind in competitiveness, and that we need to transform our economies to become more competitive and dynamic. That is why we fully embrace the Draghi agenda and the EU's efforts to modernize and change. We need to adapt to the new geopolitical situation, war in Europe, and reversal of globalization. In Norway, we have excellent students, researchers, and innovators. We have world-leading technical solutions in energy, the green energy transition, green maritime solutions, and defense. That's why today's topic are very important to us. But what we sometimes lack in Norway is the ability to scale our solutions, to make even bigger, to industrialize, commercialize, and to reach more markets. We often say that we are rather modest in Norway. We are good engineers, but we are not so good salespeople. That's why we need more collaboration with you, Italian partners. You have the size, experience, and competence to reach out, to grow, and scale up. And together, we can do great things. In a world marked by geopolitical uncertainty, economic fragmentation, and heightened security concerns, cooperation in Europe matters more than ever. And the EEA agreement provides a fundamental framework for our collaboration. It makes Norway a fully fledged member of the EU single market. It ensures that our rules are the same. It provides Italian partners, customers, and investors with predictability and equal rights. You can safely do business with Norwegians. We see considerable potential for closer business cooperation between Norway and Italy. And the three sectors highlighted by today's forum are very important. Green energy and industrial transition. Norway brings strength in renewable energy, carbon capture and storage, hydrogen, and energy-intensive industries undergoing decarbonization. Italy, with its strong industrial base, advanced manufacturing capabilities, and growing green technology sectors, is an important partner. There is a significant scope for partnerships across value chains, technology development, and industrial scaling. Second, the green maritime sector. This is perhaps one of the most obvious areas for cooperation between our countries. We are both proud maritime nations with world-leading companies and strong value chains. Third, the defense industry. Now is a crucial time. Europe is stepping up. We need to defend ourselves, and we need to develop a strong defense industry. In this field, there is a great potential for deeper industrial partnerships, innovation, and cooperation. To conclude, Norway and Italy already enjoy excellent relations, but we believe there is room to do much more together. This is an important forum and arena and possibility to develop our partnerships, and I wish everyone a productive and inspiring meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Myrseth. The floor to Laurent Franciosi, Head of International Market Development, Cassa Depositi e Prestiti. Laurent.
So, authorities, entrepreneurs, ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure to be here today and to contribute to this dialogue that I consider both timely and strategic. At a moment when cooperation between countries with strong industrial technological capabilities is becoming really increasingly important to address the major challenges of competitiveness, innovation, and sustainable transition as declared this morning by our ministers. Italy and Norway are indeed two countries with a strong industrial tradition and a shared commitment to innovation and sustainability. Despite their different economic structures, our production systems are highly complementary, providing a solid foundation on which we can build an even closer cooperation. As we heard, Norway is a global leader in the fields of energy, maritime industry, advanced offshore technologies, and represent a key partner for Italy. And Italy, for its part, boasts a diversified industrial system with internationally recognized excellences in infrastructure, engineering, manufacturing, and financial support for businesses. Over the years, we have already witnessed concrete examples of Italian companies successfully operating in Norway, and these experiences demonstrate not only a strong commercial interest, but also a genuine industrial convergence between our countries. At the same time, the current global context is opening up new opportunities, the energy transition, the increasing central role of the defense sector, the transformation of the industrial value chains. And in this context, Italy and Norway can further strengthen their cooperation by moving from a project-based approach to a more structured and long-term partnerships. Within this framework, the role of Cassa Depositi e Prestiti, which is the Italian National Development Bank, is particularly relevant. Today, CDP is among the leading European players in capital market, managing the Italian household savings, and also thanks to the bond issuance on the international market, and the deployment of these resources contributes to generating approximately 490 billion in total assets, and translates in 130 billion in loans to companies, and 40 billion in equity investments. So in line with the country's strategic priorities, the group operates along two main directions. On one side, strengthening the competitiveness and resilience of the national economic fabric, and on the other, facilitating the access to international markets, creating new business opportunities and enhancing the presence of the Italian companies on global markets. And within this system, CDP operates in coordination with SACE and with Myrseth, and with all the international actors through financial instruments designed to support both the export of Italian technologies and the internationalization plans of Italian companies. CDP also acts as an investor through CDP Equity, a group company that holds stakes in Italian firms in markets such as Norway. Our goal is to contribute to the development of long-term industrial and financial partnerships, fostering integration between ecosystems. And in this framework, we can mention two very important examples, because two companies of our portfolio already built important partnerships, such as Fincantieri with Vard, and more recently, Saipem with Subsea 7. Looking ahead, we believe that there is a significant potential to further strengthen those economic relations, particularly in sectors close to the CDP policies, such as offshore energy and energy transition technologies, the maritime innovation and shipbuilding, the sustainable infrastructure and the advanced engineering, the high value-added manufacturing value chains, and the extractions and processing of critical raw materials. So I think that the relations are strong, but there is a full potential that has not yet fully realized, and strengthening the dialogue, promoting partnerships, and leveraging our respective strengths will allow us to build an increasingly integrated and forward-looking cooperation. We are here, so we wish a productive discussion, very fruitful B2B, and is a financial institution like CDP stands ready to contribute to this path. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Laurent Franciosi. Ms. Tune Lunde Bakker, CEO of Eksfin, sorry.
Thank you very much. Eksfin is good, that's perfect. Dear friends of Italy and Norway, and thank you to the organizer for organizing this event. And as we heard from the minister, it's the first, but let's hope it's the first of many, because I think this is a very good idea. At Eksfin, Export Finance Norway, our role is very simple. We help international buyers and Norwegian exporters do business together by providing financing of the Norwegian export, financing for the international buyers of Norwegian export. We also do financing for Norwegian companies producing for export. So if there is an Italian company with a subsidiary in Norway, we can also support financing of that. We are an ECA, export credit agency, like SACE, even though they are much bigger, I have to say. And we're also learning a lot from what they are doing here, being very creative sometimes, which I think is good. We are owned by the Norwegian Ministry of Trade, Industry and Fishery, and we have about 20 billion euros in credit limits, and we are open for more business with a good capacity. We have 4 strategic areas that we're supposed to focus on in the next 4 years. One of them is offshore wind. And even though Norway does not have an offshore wind industry today, or yet, I would say, we still export annually for about 40 billion Norwegian kroner within different equipment, and that's equipment that we continue to produce from the offshore oil and gas industry. We're also looking into other green technologies like CCS, hydrogen, etc. It has been a slower development than we hope, but hopefully future is going to be more. Also green maritime, great maritime industry in Norway, offshore wind vessels, of course, but also green technology and new fuels that we are looking at. And then lastly, aquaculture, which is a big industry in Norway and also growing internationally as we're gaining more competences within land-based aquaculture. The recent years also increased our financing of the defense industry, financing the international buyers of equipment from Norway, and also we are supporting the AI growth by looking into data centers. And we think that ECA financing is particularly important in large industrial and maritime projects where buyers are seeking long-term predictable financing solutions. A good example of Norway-Italian cooperation is our partnership with Fincantieri that we heard a few times here today. In 2022, we established a 70 billion euro financing facility supporting Fincantieri's procurement of Norwegian maritime equipment and services. And why is this important? Because this demonstrates how financing can strengthen industrial cooperation. Italian shipbuilding expertise combined with Norwegian maritime technology. Italian projects create opportunities for Norwegian suppliers, and Norwegian innovation contributes to making vessels more efficient, more competitive, and more sustainable. This is precisely the type of cooperation that we would like to see more of. And the relationship between Eksfin and the Italian industry goes many years back. In 2016, we supported financing of Saipem's purchases from Norwegian suppliers with approximately 700 million euros. And since then, the relationship has continued to develop, including also now into the offshore renewable energy. We all know that the energy transition requires massive investments. New offshore wind projects, grid infrastructures, carbon management solutions, low emission shipping, and advanced maritime technologies will all require strong industrial partnerships and significant capital. Norwegian and Italian companies are already active in these value chains, so I think the next step is to increase our cooperation. Eksfin stands ready to support these efforts through financing and risk-sharing solutions that make ambitious projects bankable and commercially viable. So let me conclude with a simple message. The relationship between Norway and Italy is already strong. The task ahead is to turn this relationship into more projects, investments, and business opportunities. Eksfin looks forward to being part of that journey. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, I know Ms. Bakker has to catch a flight, so she's allowed to leave. And I would give the floor to Paola Valerio, Head of International Relations in SACE. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and good morning to all companies, excellencies, distinguished guests. It is an honor to be here today and also to have the opportunity to explain how SACE can contribute to enhancing trade between Italy and Norway in a manner that is beneficial for both Italian companies and Norwegian companies. We are the export credit agency of Italy. We operate with the guarantee of the Ministry of Economy and Finance on our commitments, and we offer insurance and guarantees that basically reduce the financing costs for both exporters and their Norwegian counterparties, further to also enhancing the capacity of the financial system. We have all the instruments in order to accompany companies throughout the internationalization journey, from the initial phase, the more initial way to approach several markets, but also, for example, in case of liquidity needs when the provision of a contract has to be carried forward, so we can guarantee banks offering financing on working capital facilities. We can also counter-guarantee banks that issue bonds for the participation to international biddings, for example, but also after a contract has been awarded when some bonds may be required, such as, for example, performance bonds, all the way down to the export and internationalization phase. With respect to export, we can directly cover exporters that are extending repayment terms in a deferred manner to their Norwegian counterparties, even medium and long-term tenors. And thanks to our guarantee, the exporter can discount the credit in a financial institution, obtaining more competitive terms that can also be coupled with the contribution from Myrseth. So again, the joint effort of the Italian system would provide an effect that is even more positive. For larger export projects, we have to involve one or more banks, a pool of banks, for example, financing the project, including clearly Cassa Depositi e Prestiti, and again, thanks to our guarantee, the banks can offer the borrower long tenors. The standard can be 15 years up to 22 for projects in strategic sectors such as renewable energies. But also we can offer more flexible repayment profiles, and that can be, of course, interesting in order to match the cash flow of the borrower. In addition, we can support internationalization projects, meaning investment abroad, such as increasing local capacity or a simple construction of a warehouse to stock goods, but also investments in Italy that would facilitate the positioning of Italian companies in foreign markets, so for example, increasing their productive capacity. In Norway, we have already long-term experience in operations. We have supported several transactions under the suppliers credit scheme, so supporting directly exporters or the participation of Italian companies in several biddings. But of course, we can do more, and we hope that new contracts will arise from today's business matching that can be, of course, subject to our support. We have also a long-standing experience and collaboration with the EXFIN, and we have with them also a reinsurance agreement, and that would mean facilitating the presence of Italian and Norwegian companies also in third markets. So we could operate by risk sharing in foreign markets. This morning it was mentioned, for example, the African continent by the minister. So we would be also available to find ways to collaborate in third markets, enhancing the presence of Italian and Norwegian companies. So again, we are here at your disposal. We hope to really contribute to this dialogue, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Paola Valerio. Ms. Ann-Kristin Andersen, CEO of Norweb, you have the floor.
Our mandate is to build partnerships between Norwegian businesses and Italian businesses, and we only operate within the energy space, trying to solve for the energy trilemma. Now, For a long time now, we've been talking a lot about sustainability and green energy, but now it's also about security and resilience. So that's a big focus for us. And Mr. Myrseth talked about us being a superpower in energy solutions, but I think Italia makes the best machinery in the world, although I am a little bit reluctant about the new electric Ferrari, but we'll see. Italy being the 5th industrial economy in the world, we heard the foreign minister say, Norway is of course much smaller, and I wouldn't be concerned about the trade deficit to Norway, Mr. Myrseth. I think that will be solved by the energy prices going up and down. So energy is indeed important, and I was glad to hear that manufacturing actually matches your export of manufacturing matches your import of energy. And I would like also to take the opportunity to say that one of the collaborations we have between Norway and Italy is when we do large-scale infrastructure projects in energy in Africa. Because in Italy, you have a lot of good engineering houses, and the big organizations for procurement sit here in Italy. So Norwegian suppliers actually have to work very closely with Italian companies in order to succeed internationally, also in Africa. And as you know, Africa, and especially West Africa, is going to be a big frontier for the years to come. In Italy, you have very high energy prices. We are, of course, fortunate in Norway to have much lower prices. I think you have the record in Europe. So you are, of course, interested in building more energy infrastructure here. And I am glad to see that you work a lot on solar, you work a lot on onshore wind. Norwegians doesn't have much to offer there, but we can help you balance your grid, and we can, of course, help you with solutions for your LNG imports on the terminal side. And I know that you have a couple of projects there coming up. The oceans is, in fact, what brought us together. We are better on the sea than we are on land. And we are glad to see that the Made in Europe is making its way through industry, both here in Italy and also in Norway. And we are happy to build relationships. We know that to do business in Italy, you have to have relationships, and maybe this is a start of a strengthened relationship. And I will also take the opportunity to talk to people afterwards. And I also want to say that Marco Gabelloni, who is here for Aker Solutions, he is also working closely with Norway, because we believe you need to be on the ground in order to be effective. So thank you for the invite. We look forward to continued relationship with Italia. And we'll see if the Ferrari can make up for its impression.
We were asked once, did everyone like the very first iPhone? So let's see about the Ferrari. And thank you, Ann-Kristin Andersen. And last but not least, I would give the floor to the Myrseth, the third, together with Cassa Depositi e Prestiti and SACE agency of what we call the Italian system, the Sistema Italia, supporting financially partnership of our companies abroad. Federica Ingrosso, Senior External Relations, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, distinguished guests, good morning. It is a very pleasure to be here today and to contribute to this important dialogue between Italy and Norway. In this context, Myrseth acts as a very strategic partner supporting international growth of Italian companies in Norway. We are part of Cassa Depositi e Prestiti Group and of a broader Sistema Italia. And for more than 30 years, we've been supporting Italian companies in their internationalization process, supporting them from the very initial phase of internationalization, for example, feasibility studies, to more structured investment. We can divide our activities into three main pillars. First of all, concessional soft loans for internationalization, in which we support Italian companies in every step of internationalization process to entry and scale up in international markets such as Norway. We cover expenses like, for example, entering or strengthening local structure, promotional expenses, participation in trade fairs and missions, certification, and also temporary export manager to accelerate execution. We are talking about concrete financial instruments to help Italian companies to position and to effectively access to the Norway market. The second pillar dedicated to equity loans. In this case, Siemens acts as a minority shareholder and support the international growth of Italian company abroad, also for capital-intensive strategic ventures, including infrastructure and industrial projects. Our role is purely financial. We do not interfere with management, which remains fully in the hand of the Italian company. And also, we are talking about a very flexible investment, a tailor-made investment with a clear investment horizon. The third pillar dedicated to export credit solutions, working with SACE and our partner banks. We structure export credit solution in the double form of supplier and buyer's credit. This is an important activity dedicated to those Italian companies who export large-scale industrial supplies, allowing a foreign buyer to benefit from long-term deferred payment, and at the same time, the Italian companies can receive the immediate payment. This is a very important instrument because increase cash flow and also support the competitiveness of Italian companies in the international market. Overall, as you can see, Siemens offer very important strategic financial instruments to cover the value chain of internationalization. We are ready to work with next to the other institutional partners belonging to Sistema Italia, like for example SACE, CDP, Confindustria, and the Italian Trade Agency, providing to Italian companies a coordinated, coherent support framework, including financing, risk mitigations, and also market access. So I'm here to at your disposal for further information, and I would like to thank you so much for your attention.
Thanks a lot to all panelists. We now move to the sectorial panels. The energy transition one remains in this room, whereas the green maritime in the Sala Gaia. So I would kindly ask all participants to the Green Maritime panel to proceed on my left to Sala Gaia. There will be staff accompanying you. And the third panel, Defense, Cybersecurity and Critical Infrastructure Protection, also please proceed this way to the entrance floor, right behind the accreditation desks. The Sala Aldo Moro is the one where the panel takes place. Thank you so much.